just once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room. And damn, what a hell of a view. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time, a first date, you're so fine, I'm so late. You sip wine, I drink straight, don't waste time to my place. I feel my heart erase, so catch me if I fall. Praying that this night's gonna last. You got it all on tap, I'm loving your vibe, always have your back. We like all the same tracks, listen all night in the sheets all black. Said I'm falling fast, don't remember life before you, that's fact. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time, a first date, you're so fine, I'm so late. You sip wine, I drink straight, don't waste time to my place. I feel my heart erase, so catch me if I fall.
Here we are, party people. Wow, there's 4 of us tonight. We are in for a treat. At least I know it will be a treat for me. I can't really speak for our audience. And speaking of audience, just to set the record straight, I know Sean and myself, this is live streaming on our channels, but what about you, Philip, and you, Doug, in that order? Philip, is this going on your channel?
Yeah, it is. So
okay.
Welcome to any on my channel. Welcome to Miranda Detailing, and we're going live.
Okay, since you're already talking, Miranda, which is not your first name, that is your last name.
Right.
Want to just do a little brief intro, like for example, and this is something I have to, toggle in my mind, is remembering that this is streaming on multiple channels. So a little brief intro. Philippe.
Yeah. So basically, this is our channel, Miranda Detailing, and we're going live with Auto Fetish, Shine Like a Pro, and Detail It. So answering questions, asking questions, getting to know each other, and hopefully helping out any new detailers who are watching this.
Or maybe not so new detailers that might be struggling.
That's right. That's right.
And then over there to my left, which is my left, we've got Doug from Detail It. So introduce yourself.
Hello,
Doug.
So I'm Doug from Detail It. I live in California, and I learned from Darren Priest sitting right there in front of you. Watched hours of your videos, man. You saved me a lot of money, I must admit.
Well, that was part of my strategy.
Yep. Telling me not to buy a carpet shampoo, door cleaner, a leather cleaner. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep things a little more simple, shall we?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly that.
Yeah. And then, of course, we got Sean up there. Sean that likes to remain on the peripheral. Shine like a pro. Okay.
So hey, Darren.
Yeah.
Do you remember talking about Hydra last week or 2 weeks ago?
Refresh my memory.
So you guys were talking waterless and rinseless wash, and I threw out Hydra.
Okay.
And I told you I'd send you a sample. That man's in the house. That is Aaron. He's right there on your screen with this logo.
Let's see.
So he makes that.
He makes Hydra?
I'm game.
Yeah.
Okay, so what can you tell us about Hydra? Because I know I'm not familiar with it. Oh, is that it right there? The
Phoenix EOD.
Okay, the end of Phoenix has been cut off because it's got the little YouTube icon on it. Okay, what does the acronym stand for, by the way? I think someone might have told us already, but I don't remember.
Evolve or die.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow,
and Mr. Miranda above you there on my screen, he's above you. He's one of I think that he did part of the wax or something. Did you not, Phil?
Yeah,
Glossom wax.
We did a collaboration, and he did a crazy hybrid infused sealant that we call Glossom wax.
Very good, actually.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
With that said, I would be curious to hear a little bit about the origins of this. For example, you call it Hydra, which I believe is a Greek pulls from a Greek mythology, right? Hydra, cut the head off and more grow.
All of his products are the Greek mythology, all of them.
Yeah.
Which actually makes sense based on that EOD, evolve or die, which I don't know, that might be a bit of a stretch for other people, but for my little brain, it kind of makes sense. So what's Phoenix EOD? You told me what EOD is, but what's Phoenix? Meaning I've never seen a bottle. Typically I'm going to look on a bottle and see who the manufacturer is. So is Phoenix the manufacturer, or is that just his avatar that he uses on YouTube?
No, that is a company. That is the company.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
The phoenix that rises from the ashes. This guy's into all kinds
of
symbolism.
I
love it.
Yep. Yeah, and he has his own chemist that mixes all of his stuff. So it's not, white labeled or anything like that.
Okay. And you use the term white labeled. Someone else in our stream a week or 2 weeks ago was, I was trying to remember, like, with the few industries that I've been involved with, we just called it private labeling. I was also in the hair care industry when I was cutting hair for that was a little hiatus I took years ago.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah. Go figure, right?
It was a long time ago.
20, I don't know, probably 20 years now.
So what was that title, Darren? Were you a barber or what were you?
I was a licensed cosmetologist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Welcome to California, which you can appreciate, Doug. Just over-regulated up the wazoo. So you have to go to, I don't remember, I think it's 900 hours you have to get before you can even attempt to get your license. It's so bass-ackwards. Point is it took me a year and a half. I got my license. I started working at this high-end salon, and my audience was going to be women, women, cut, color, that whole deal.
Yeah.
But that's been one of and you guys can relate to this because detailing is so physically hard, and it doesn't take long before you realize how long am I going to sustain this. And it seems to be a theme in this world is that everyone wants to talk about it or teach it, but very few people want to do it because it's just that hard. And so you start formulating an exit strategy pretty quick into it, I suspect. Does that, before you answer that, what we maybe should do is build a little foundation, because this will help me as well as the audience. So for example, Doug, most of what I know is via Sean. So you're a professional detailer now. Is this a full-time gig? Okay, it's not.
Hobby.
Oh, hobby.
Just a hobby.
I told you he's a garage detailer, more like a DIY, and Phil is the professional.
Yes.
Phil's the pro. He makes a living doing it. I just play, have fun, get some products, make a little side money. The side hustle, the links and all that. You did it too. So, it's kind of that. I started this channel to make enough money to just try a lot of products and have fun. That's it.
Okay. And how long have you been your side hustling hobbyist? So I suspect you were what you would call an enthusiast or hobbyist first, and then you decided to perhaps leverage it and make a little side hustle money. Is that correct?
Yeah, you were the inspiration, man. Your channel. I said, hey, I got to try to figure out how to make like $5 or $10 grand a year, just something I can make. And I'm not saying you do or don't. I'm just saying, make some money on the side because I've got thousands of bottles of product. You use them 1 or 2 times, you give them away or throw them away. So you have to make a little money.
Right.
Or somebody can send you a sample. I ask for samples. Hey, if you got a sample, I'll try it.
Yeah.
So that, it's always been fun for me. My dad raised me to keep your car clean every Friday night. You pulled it in the driveway, you vacuumed it, you washed it, you armor-alled your tires.
That's
There was
right.
armor all. That's it.
That was my first experience into. I think a lot of us, anyways, have been there. That's no shame in that.
Yep.
Yes. So, and that was kind of just the regimen. And even on a rainy day, going to school, you need to wash them tires and wheels. Your car looks better with clean wheels and tires. And sure enough, it does. So that was just kind of the thing. My grandparents always kept their cars nice. It's just always been something fun.
Yeah.
I don't have the knowledge you have, or Sean. I know Sean detailed too, or Miranda. I don't have that knowledge.
I don't have much knowledge.
I can make a car look nice. I'm not going to tell you the chemical stuff, and not like Phil could or you could, but I can tell you what I see.
Before we keep going, Phil, you are not live.
As opposed
I'm not
to,
on my channel.
I just checked it. I just double checked it. Doug is on. Everyone's on except for you. I just checked it, and it's showing that you are not on. Your audience has no clue you're on here.
Why is that?
That stinks. I don't know why.
You can back out. You can back out and reconnect if you want, or you can just stay on. It's up to you.
That's weird.
Because there's an option.
You got to come in and try to toggle it in. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you an option. Yeah. If you don't click on it, it won't. I mean, you connect, but it won't connect your channel.
That's weird. Okay, let me go back.
Umberto just confirmed that you're not on, Phil.
Yeah. Let me send you. I just double checked it while you're talking. I'm going to resend you a new link.
Yeah, it would be nice to let his audience know. Watch in.
Of course, I don't want.
And hopefully, it won't screw the rest of us up.
No,
I know.
But I'm willing to risk it.
No, I won't.
Darren. Oh man.
All right, let me send it to you.
I am not risk averse.
Let me leave this.
I love it,
back, guys.
Yeah, come back, Phil. Bring the whiskey, huh?
Well,
no,
okay.
no.
No, second.
So Doug.
Yes, sir.
I love your story, by the way, as far as growing up and the example set by your grandparents and your father. That's cool. And I set the same example for my kids, which, ironically enough, I don't know if you want to call it ironic or not, but okay, two of my kids, and I'm talking about 5. 2 of my kids are very hypervigilant with their vehicles. The other 3, not.
Really?
Yeah, it's really frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. When I see their cars, it's like, oh my gosh! Like, in fact, my youngest daughter, really extreme. It's like, Holland, are you kidding me? Like seriously, I mean, anyhow. But
Dad, you can do it. Come on, Dad, just do it for her.
No, that meaning I
How old
trained
is
them.
she?
She is 20. Let me think. 25. So she's my youngest. I think she's 25.
They're still crazy busy at that time. They've got better things to do than wipe down a car, Dad.
Yeah, I know. It's priorities. I get it.
Yes.
But that's where I'm a tough audience, because somehow I've managed to juggle all that stuff despite what life was throwing at me. So I don't have much sympathy for it, and I don't really give her much of a rash. Just occasionally, really, she knows that when I walk into the room, she's going to be under scrutiny anyways.
Well, then, Phil, you're still not on.
I'm not sure it's not giving me the option now to actually do it.
Really?
So, yeah.
Sucks.
So don't worry about it, guys. We can always do it next time. It's no worry.
Well, I'll have to next time. I'll help you with that.
Yeah.
There's a little setting at the very beginning that I actually ignored one time myself. That it just says add your channel.
Yeah, and I did that, and it said it was connected, and then I even went to my email, and it said if this was me and I clicked yes, but
Huh.
for some reason it's not working. So
That's a bummer.
Let's see.
well.
Yo, it's Tim. How are you doing? Umberto. It's Tim.
Tim and Umberto are buddies.
Tim, I see. Tim McLaughlin is talking with Umberto.
Well, that's what I was going to say before we keep going, Darren.
Yeah.
There are all these comments we're not really talking to. So I got to go back so we can at least say hi to the audience members.
Okay.
So I'm going to start at the beginning, just so you can say hi to people.
All right.
You got Tim, you got Mark, you got Phoenix, and so on.
Yeah, I'm not. Meaning, I recognize first from Puerto Rico, Umberto.
He's an animal, man.
Yeah, he's all over the board. He's Johnny on the spot. Johnny on the spot. So how many of us, this is so random. Every time I look at you, Phil, it's just like Gil Bellows. It just like screams Gil Bellows, which, by the way, he's a good looking dude in my opinion. So I'll take a compliment. Yes. Especially with the facial hair. But has no one ever said that to you?
Not him.
Okay.
No, I get a lot of other people, but not him.
Oh yeah. Not that he's a huge, actor, especially nowadays, but anyhow, yeah, it's just funny to see you there. I'm thinking I'm talking to him. So Tim, picking up, it'd be cool if this platform we're using, Sean, would like tell us who this person or whose channel this person is watching. That would be really helpful.
There is a software like that. I just can't afford it.
Oh, okay.
This is a budget friendly software. They have some really cool stuff. I'm not gonna pay $1,000 a month for it though.
Not yet,
nope.
Right?
Heck no.
I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just a very tiny like Phil is a tiny or a small auto detailing business, and I'm a very tiny YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So there's only so much I'm willing to pay for.
I see our names disappeared also. Was that your doing, Sean?
The names disappear?
Are the names our names? There used to be...
It disappears when the comments are up. Like, watch, I'll take it off, and then they come back on.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Because it makes room. It makes room for the comments.
Hey, Doug, I got a question for you. And so, how? I'm trying to figure. I'm hesitating because I'm trying to figure. I'm a big fan of asking good questions. So what I'm curious about is the transition between a hobbyist and you starting to think, well, wait a minute, this is pretty cool. I think I can do a pretty good job. I wonder if I can make money doing it, because, to question that, which I suspect a lot of guys do, is one thing, but then it becomes like, okay, but whose car am I going to detail? Who's going to be my first customer? So maybe you could expand on that a little bit for me personally, at least, but I think the audience would enjoy that, because eventually there's going to be a few guys out there that are sitting in your shoes where you were at once at, where they're debating.
That is a good question. I used to detail on the side on my weekends off, but I was only making like $150 a car to do like a 2-step correction, like 12 hours on a vehicle. So it wasn't profitable. No, I'm not kidding you. I'm dead serious. So my wife,
I'm laughing because anyone that's gone through that refiner's fire, which I'm sure Phil will agree to that, which is oh my God, I just spent 8 hours on this car and I charged him $200. What was I thinking?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he kept me plenty busy. A couple guys that were coworkers would recommend friends, cousins, whatever. I always had a car on a weekend making $150. People complain about that price, by the way, $150. Because I'm not a shop, right? I'm not a pro. So I guess if I had a title and a name and a shop, they would pay it. I had some people dig on me because I was doing it out of my garage. But at $150, still complaining. So I just decided to play with the channel, experiment with products, have fun with it. And I don't really detail cars other than my wife's and the coupe, simply because nobody wants to pay. That's
Yeah.
I was going to start a side detail, actually start a business, get a license, get insured, and do it on the weekends. And my wife says, "You work too much already. No way." So, not making
That,
money. Mama's against it. So here I sit in my garage.
sounds like wife's a team player. I like that. You know, if she's telling you not to do it, because
She's an ass kicker.
that's good.
That one.
Hey, Richard Seam just bounced on. It's about
Richard
time,
Seam.
Richard.
Dude, Richard.
Yeah, what about time, dude?
He's brutal. Was he polite? He was. Wow.
Yeah. Rarely is
Richard's
Richard
a great
polite.
dude, man. Oh, he's
yeah.
great, though. I love talking to that guy. He's
welcome
great.
HM Auto Detailing. So I know he's been talking a couple times here. So
HM Auto Detailing.
Hey, HM. There's a lot of good guys on here right now. I love it.
So, Phil, I see that it says Philip. What do you actually go by? I don't know if you typed that in or if Sean typed that in. Do you go by
No,
Philip
I
or
did.
Phil? Okay, so Philip.
I typed it in. Yeah, I mean,
All right.
I have half the people call me Phil, half call me Philip.
Yeah. We have the beard guys. You know what? Good eye. Good connecting the dots there, Richard.
Oh,
So-
what'd he say?
He's called us the beard guys, as in we all have facial hair going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's still pretty polite.
Philip, tell us a little about your start as far as how did you start and then how did it transition into what you're doing? So elaborate a bit for us if you would.
Sure. Yeah, it started really out of necessity. So we were living up in northern New York and Vermont area. I was born and raised in Boston, and then spent the
My
majority
shop
of my
manager can't handle that I'm out here.
Aw, that's cute.
He's awesome.
You can hear
trying to
all
get
the
my lap.
licking.
Oh, he's trying to get in my lap, like straight up in my lap. Sorry, Phil. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we used to live up in Vermont area, northern New York area, and we were just struggling with work and not really ever finding anything to make enough money. I was married in 2003, and
What age would that put you at, if I can ask?
21.
I was gonna say
Nice.
you were probably young, and my first marriage, I was way young, not 21 young, but 23 young.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
yeah, Phil, you're only 2 years older than me.
oh really?
Yeah, I'm gonna be 45 in November. Because in 2003 I was wait, you said 2001, right?
No, 2003 I was married.
No, you were 21 in 03?
I was 21 in 03. Yeah, actually, I just turned.
Oh wait,
Yeah, I just turned 21. Yeah, I'm actually
you're
40. I'm 42.
yeah, you're 2 years younger than me.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'll be 45 in a couple weeks. So
Yep.
Young
Yep.
bucks.
Yep.
cool.
But
All right, go on.
so I mean, we were struggling with work up there and finances, and we were just buried in debt, and it was just we hit rock bottom basically.
Oh yeah.
Ouch.
And
That's tough.
we had bought a house that we had no business owning, and 2 vehicles, one with a payment, and I lost my job in the middle of winter owning a house with all that stuff, and I'm like, screw this, I got to do something, this is crazy. So at around the same time, a friend of ours had a mobile bumper painting business, which was really, really lucrative, really, really good. And basically he would travel around in a nice little trailer with a paint system in it, all the paint tints.
Yeah.
And he would go to dealerships and paint the car bumpers, like used car bumpers that
Right.
had cracks or, imperfections. And he would tape everything off like he was an outdoor body shop, basically. And he would repair it, prime it, and mix the color according to the code. And then he would spray it, base coat, clear coat the whole thing. And within an hour to an hour and a half, it was all done, back onto the lot. And he would charge anywhere between $75 to $125 a bumper. And it was an awesome, awesome business. So I actually learned how to do that. I did that for like 2 years up there.
Okay.
And at that point, we're like, let's move anyway. And maybe we can start this business somewhere down south where it's warmer. We don't have the winters up there that were just really, really bad. So all this research, and months later, or like a year later, actually, after that, we settled on Virginia area, like Richmond, Virginia area.
That's way south.
Yep. We didn't want to go to Florida, but we wanted to go like somewhere in between.
Okay.
And it ended up being Richmond, Virginia, and it was a good move. It was really good because it was still a struggle. We had to pay off the debt. We actually filed bankruptcy. We hit rock bottom, so we're just like, let's just start over.
Yeah.
And we built the business, and
So tell
out,
me about how did you bounce from mobile bumper repair to actually detailing? How did that come to be?
Yeah, so it was kind of interesting because some of the sites that I was looking at chemicals for polishing, because with that I'd learned how to polish.
Yeah.
Not very well, but I learned the basics of it. Yeah, with the rotary and everything. I learned on the rotary.
Yeah.
And so within looking about polishes, compounds, buffers, and pads and all that stuff, I'd stumbled across, I think Auto Geek was like the first store and forum that I actually stumbled on, and the whole detailing aspect of it, like cleaning chemicals and everything. I'm like, what's this? And the more I looked into it, the more I found that could be a cheaper startup, because the mobile bumper painting startup was a lot of money, and we were like already in debt.
Yeah.
So the detailing, mobile detailing especially, was something that was easy, cheap to start up. So we did that, and it actually turned out pretty good. Like the first year we almost failed.
Almost failed multiple times.
Yeah, because at the end of the year we're like this isn't really making enough money. What should we do?
Hey, honey, that was a lot of stinking work and not that much money.
Yeah.
Should we keep going with this?
And it was just Jess and I too. Like it was the both of us learning.
I suspect Jess would be your wifey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And that's also what I was going to ask, because you keep saying we. So it sounds like the two of you did this together right out of the gate, as in both of you started it together.
Absolutely.
Which that's a lot of risk, man. I got to tell you, because, now granted you had filed bankruptcy, so it's kind of hard to, get deeper than that, but you still can. You could literally be homeless. So there's still room, there still is a basement to enter if you wanted to. Just because you declare bankruptcy doesn't mean you've literally lost everything. But having two of you jump into it, that's a lot, kudos to you guys.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, looking at it from the outside, we're like, well, I mean, what do we got to lose? We either stay here and fight it out, or we just go home and live with our parents and try to, live. And like, we didn't want to do that. So we kept on. We just kept on struggling through it. And a couple of years in, it finally settled in. Like it settled in, and it started to actually become a real business.
Yeah. And
you guys have done a great job from that.
Man, I mean, nobody has seen our early days. I started the YouTube channel like 5 years or so after that.
Oh, wow.
So
back up a moment. What did you say before you said the YouTube channel? Nobody saw
us in our early days.
Oh,
yeah, nobody saw us in our early days. I didn't.
Excuse me one sec.
Record anything. I wasn't filming anything. All the crazy mistakes and stuff that we made over time.
Oh, yeah. I think that would hold true for all of us. I mean, I had 20 years into it at least before I started YouTube.
Yeah.
But with that said, there's not a whole lot of females in this industry because it is so physically demanding. Now, in my business, I've actually, between my wife, one of my sisters, in fact, and one of my daughters, I think those three females have all worked for me, but it's really uncommon. So what was the discussion like between your wife and yourself regarding the physically demanding aspect of it? Never mind, you just get really dirty. I mean, men seem to be able to handle that much better than women as a general rule. So what was that discussion like, as far as like weighing in on like, hey, honey, you know what? I'm a team player. I wanted to help you detail, but I'm thinking I'm going to go get a white collar job and then you can detail. So like, how did that play out?
So she is a much harder worker than me.
Oh yeah.
She grew up like a farm girl.
Okay.
So she is very used to hard work.
Yeah.
And before we got married, her and her family owned a painting business, an interior painting business.
That's cool.
Hard
They
work.
and they used to work up at the ski mountains like Killington and Pico up in Vermont. I don't know if you're familiar with those big ski mountains up there, but they have
No.
resorts and condos and stuff. And they had contracts for years where every summer, spring, summer, and fall, they would go in there and repair and paint all of the condos,
Yeah.
or a a large amount of them, as much as we could handle. And it was just me, like I married into the business basically, but it was her, her dad, her brother, and me, and that was it. Like again, another small business, so she was already used to working hard, and
Okay.
she wasn't afraid of it at all. She never had a desk job or anything. She was always physically
Nice.
working. She was a cleaner, like she did residential and commercial
Yeah.
cleaning. So yeah,
I
she was very
suspect
used
I
to
know
that.
the answer, but how do you guys divide up the labor?
It's kind of interesting because that again kind of happened out of necessity. When we first started, we were just kind of all over the place. Like I'll do this and you do this, and I'll do this and you do this. And
I guess you were both going through the learning curve together, which is different than my
exactly.
story because, I at least 15 plus years into it before I ever brought, people on. So
Yeah.
you're both
Yeah.
learning together. But how did it? I suspect you've eventually settled into a kind of standardized routine between the two of you, or no?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's interesting. So within the first, maybe it was going into the second to third year, we actually did Groupon when Groupon was good, like when it
Yeah.
worked,
Yeah.
because they would only focus on one business per city.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And when they came to Richmond, I looked them up by accident. I'm like, "What's this?" And it happened I saw it on an app somewhere or something. And I just applied, and then they called, and they gave me the whole rundown of what they do, and that got us on the map.
Yeah.
And we didn't make a ton of money from it because they take half your profits, and you're only charging half of the amount. So it comes down to like a quarter of what you should be making.
Right.
So literally, it would be like $25 for an express detail. However, we packaged it together. It was supposed to be like
Wow.
$100. Yeah, it was $100, and it was like half off. So that's like $50, and then we only get half of that.
Yeah.
And then they pay us
Yeah.
in installments. But that wasn't bad because already money was coming in, and we're like, we're happy. That's fine.
Yeah.
And we had customers coming in, and they would add on extra stuff, and it just got us busy, and it taught us how to schedule because we're scheduling like 5 of them in a day, which was ridiculous.
Wow.
All over the place, like one here, one here, one here, one here.
Oh wow.
So we learned how to schedule a route. We learned only fit a few in a day
Yeah.
and only a few in a week, and leave the rest open for regular customers that might call. So it taught us a lot, but it also taught us the routine of like, okay, we need to wash, we need to do this quickly, we need to wash it, whatever we're doing for protection, wheels, rinsing. And we fell into that pattern, and we developed this pattern that we still do to this day,
Oh yeah.
where I pre-wash, she's rinsing, and then we're both contact washing. And if it's an SUV, I do all the top sections. And she does the bottom sections. If it's a small car, she does all the top sections, and I do the bottom sections, and then I do the wheels as she's doing the final rinsing. And so we like have a really, really good, standard of doing things, our operating procedure, like
Yeah.
our SOP basically. And we kind of kept it down to this day. And then when we do the interior, I'm always on the driver's side with the vacuum, dusting, brushing. She's always doing the seats, the leather, the vinyl, the glass. And
Interesting.
it's a really good system, and we knock things out very, very quickly now. We're very, very efficient because of that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I operated it very differently than that. It was always the girls would do the interiors, and I would, focus on the exterior.
Mm.
That's what I thought you were going to say, but it sounds like you guys just split up the entire job. Just
Hmm.
yeah, both
And
interior and exterior.
and now she polishes. So at first
Really?
she didn't used to polish, and
Yeah.
a couple of years ago the cordless machines. Like we got the SPTA cordless polisher when it first came out, and she picked that up and she's like, "Oh, I like this. I don't like that it has a cord."
Yeah.
And after years of watching me do stuff, she would always be sitting in the car as I'm polishing a vehicle after she's done all her job, on the site, and just watching me polish. And I would tell her like, "Okay, I'm supposed to do this, and I do this, and I do this, and look at the results." And she picked up the polisher, put a pad on it, and put some product on it, and she started polishing this vehicle that I was working on with the cordless polisher, and she's like, "This is awesome." And she just picked
Give
it up.
it 2 minutes.
Yeah, she just picked
awesome.
it up and she started doing it. Like I didn't have to tell her much at all.
Yeah.
So now we both polish. I polish the driver's side, she polishes the passenger
Wow.
side, and like now we have
That's
a routine
awesome,
with
man.
that. The coating, she does the wheels, the trim, I do glass, I do paint. So it's
Nice.
yeah, we have a very good SOP that works together. We work together very well.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
lovely.
good though.
Yeah.
So how much do you guys weigh in on this exit strategy as far as like just how labor and meaning, I've lived it for 30 plus years. I mean, there's just and I've done a lot of stuff because I started working when I was 10 and there just isn't too many things I haven't done. So for example, painting houses, I know firsthand that's hard work, a different kind of hard work, but it's not going to kick my ass like detailing does. In fact, I mean, there's very few things I've done that kicks your ass like detailing does. So when you've spent, 6 to 10 hours mobily, out detailing a car, and you do that 5 days in a row, never mind, I would say probably the majority of my life, I've worked 6 days a week. And, that's a lot of physical labor to, ask the body to sustain.
Yep.
How much do you guys like talk about like, oh, wow, honey, this is like, we need to find an exit strategy here. And I get it. Your YouTube channel was probably part of the motivation, I suspect.
Yeah. It definitely is now. The YouTube channel and training and teaching.
Do you do a lot of that?
I don't do a ton of it, but
Yeah.
I do one-on-one training here. So when, certain detailers ask, and if they're around here, local-ish, they'll drive a few hours and I'll, spend a day and train them.
That's pretty cool.
I don't advertise it or push it that much, but I probably should start doing that a little bit more. Because that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
It's very easy. And it's just sharing knowledge, and experience with people. And a lot of them, they love it. They appreciate it. Even though it's like, I feel like I'm not showing them anything too spectacular, but to them it is.
Right.
It's things that they've never seen before or heard before. And to physically put their hands on a machine and paint and see it and feel it makes a world of difference. Because a lot of them will say, like, I didn't know what to expect when I'm applying a coating, or how I should hold the polisher, or what I should be looking for. So that makes a big difference. At the end of the day, a lot of them are like, I learned a lot of stuff, but now I feel more confident going forward. It's more the confidence building than anything that they appreciate.
I agree.
Yeah.
Richard, really? 2014, Richard?
Yeah.
How about 1988? Dude.
Richard,
Seriously?
come on, man. Rick.
1988, man. Like, do the math.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe he's joking because he knows I've been at it for like forever.
Yeah.
He's trolling you for sure.
Hey, I got to ask Philip, like, like I'm pretty fortunate. I live in SoCal and we really don't have seasons here. In fact, we don't get much rain. So what's it like? Like, how do you survive the winters there? I mean, I know you guys have winters to some degree, if not snow, which I suspect you get some snow, but probably a whole lot of rain.
Yeah, the winters here are super mild.
Are they?
Even when we were mobile, we would work right through the winter. It might slow down a little bit, but for the most part, even in the winter, we'd be out there.
See, that's what I wondered here in Southern California, because we're so spoiled that, like, and it really used to piss me off back, 20, 30, whatever years ago, because I had to live off the weather report and that's part of my point, is that we're so spoiled here. We're so used to dry roads, no rain, that the second you hear rain in the forecast, which of course the news channels always want to talk about rain in the forecast because they know that's what everyone wants to hear, most people. And so it's like, oh, looks like we got a chance of rain coming up towards the weekend. And everyone would just be like, oh, no, I'm going to wait till after the rain. It's like, oh, my gosh. And so I always wondered what other detailers did that actually had to deal with real weather. If maybe people just accepted like, hey, you know what? Meaning it's all relative. So if you're used to consistent rain, perhaps you're less reserved about getting your car detailed because you know it's just going to keep raining and you might as well just kick the can down the road 3 months to 6 months if you're going to play game.
Yeah.
But
some people are like that. It really just depends on the person. Like this week, half the week was raining here.
Oh yeah.
But it was a super busy week for us. Like we had a coding job that pretty much just stayed in the garage until the rain was done. But in the midst of that,
my questions.
in the midst of that, we actually did another full detail on a vehicle. The exterior, he didn't really care, but he's a regular. And he's like, I just want the interior done because I'm going on a trip. He's like, just wash on the outside. I don't care if I have to pick it up in the rain. So we still did that job. And a second maintenance job that we did was kind of partially in the rain too. And so like, even though we had a rainy week, it was a full week. And it really didn't matter that much. So, but these are regular customers also. Like I have a lot of returning regular customers and they don't care. They're like, I want it done. I don't really care. It's going to get dirty anyway, but I want to keep up on it. So even in the winter, like when we were mobile in the past, we would have a few that would want to wait if they saw some weather in the forecast, which is okay. We actually learned that we would leave a floater day, like 1 or 2 floater days during the week. We would not schedule 5 days a week because when we did that and then we had 1 day of bad weather, it screwed the entire schedule up.
Right.
So
I remember that. I did the same thing where I learned pretty quickly. It's like, you know what? I'm busy enough now that I literally can guarantee this float 1 or 2 days is just somehow going to get scheduled at the last minute. So I knew enough to not schedule any hard appointments on 1 to 2 days during the week.
Exactly. And if they didn't, then we had a day off and we went and did errands or just relaxed. So I didn't feel it was a big loss.
Relax.
I know.
Darren. What?
I finally learned to do that. And my wife also, because we have slowed down our life in general.
Yeah.
To the point where we don't have a ton of expenses. Like we don't have any more debt. We have like a teeny bit of like debt from like buying toys and stuff like with a credit card. That's about it.
Yeah.
But it's nothing serious. It's like a few $1,000s just from buying stuff. But
I'm guessing you guys don't have children.
Expenses. No kids.
Okay. See, there's right there's
no kids.
A huge.
True.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. So we decided a long time ago. We were not. Both of us were like, we're good. We have big families on both sides. We're like, we're fine. We're good. We're not going to focus on that. But
still, what I want to drill down a little bit specifically, because you do it full time, is like, how often does it become a thing between you and your wife? The physical demands of detailing, you know, because you add that, and you know, you're not getting old, or I'm sorry, you're not getting younger, like none of us are. And so, and then you pile onto that some of just the drama of running a business, which every business owner is going to have, whether it's a lack of communication between you and a customer, who knows what. I mean, there's 1,000 ways business can really just like kick you in the teeth, and you add that to the demands of your body. So is this a conversation that rarely comes up, or you just love detailing that much, and you know, where it's like, it's just not an issue, honey. Like we're just going to ride this till the wheels fall off, or the wheels fall off our bodies.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely have talked about it before, and actually not a lot of people know this. Maybe they know it from watching our recent videos in the past 4 years, but this house here, we didn't buy on our own. So this big house that we have is shared with my parents.
Okay.
So my parents used to live in Boston. They lived in Vermont, and they moved to Boston to take care of their parents.
Uh-huh.
And they bought a house together, took care of their parents until they all passed away, but they had a great life taking care of them. And then they had this big house in Boston that they sold. And my parents were like, "Hey, let's buy a house together and make this easier on all of us."
What
Meaning,
a novel idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
and because they kind of
Cool.
learned, from not preparing early enough that they had
Okay.
some hardships dealing with their parents, health-wise and financially. So my dad was retired. They sold that big house there and had enough to like pay a quarter off of this one and buy it. And now we both just live here, and we pay half of the mortgage and expenses, and it's very, very affordable with both of us paying
Nice.
for it.
Okay.
So, I don't
So you're
have to worry
you're
about
not battling this huge overhead every month
Mm-mm.
that you are killing yourselves. And
Yeah.
well, that sounds like a pretty nice gig. That's cool.
Yeah, we were fortunate, and we, my parents were very smart about thinking ahead and planning ahead,
Yeah.
and it's really good for all of us. So, yeah, I mean, it took care of our worry about buying a house or finding a place to rent and all of that, because we've always kind of struggled with that. Always bad landlords or just stuff that never really worked out that well. So
Yeah.
now we have
So
a house
to
that's in our family.
so to clarify, you are 100% at a shop, and is that shop at your home, or do you have a separate standalone shop that is your shop?
Nope, it's at our home. We have a big
Okay.
garage. That was part of the prerequisite for buying a house. Is it had to
Okay.
have a big shop, paved road, not too far away,
Yeah.
and have
Nice.
everything. And we found a place that just, really hit all of the checks. Hit all the boxes. And
Sounds like it.
turned out really good. We're very fortunate, very thankful for it
Nice.
because it changed our life completely. We stopped doing mobile. We sold all the mobile stuff,
Okay.
and it was great. Yeah, it's been great. So because of that, we've lowered our expenses. And to kind of get back to the question of an exit strategy, an exit plan is focus on YouTube, focus on training, but we're still
Yeah.
going to detail. Like I don't foresee a day where I'm not going to be doing some sort of physical detailing
Yeah.
until I literally can't
Can't do it.
move anymore. Like that's just me. I'm not going to.
Is that because you love detailing that much, or something else?
It's a little bit of both. It's a necessity, and I also enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we have
So
a
you
job
just
that we enjoy.
so that's how you would describe it. You enjoy it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Because
I do.
honestly, I actually love it, and that is it. Just and I started playing around with exit strategies probably, I don't know, 5 years into it.
Mhm.
But yet I was still at it 35 years later. And it's like, well, what's going on with that, Darren? It's like, well, it's not from lack of trying, because I
Yeah.
had taken a lot of roads trying. I mean, I would overwhelm your brain if I told you all the stuff I've tried. But the reality is I just really love it that much. And I've always said,
Mhm.
you've got to be a special kind of lunatic to really stick with detailing the long term, because it really is so demanding on the body. And I
Yeah.
know it's part of my personality, the A-type personality, where I'm always racing the clock. I'm always competing against myself, where it's like, hey, this is a 6-hour job. I wonder if you could get it done in 5 hours today.
Yes.
And then I
Yes.
do it, and then it's like, dude, I bet you can do it in 4.5 hours. And I'm motivated by that, because I also make more by becoming more efficient.
Yep.
And so it's a double-edged sword at a level, but I'm telling you, boy, did I feel it. But yet I still loved it, and I still love
Yeah.
it to this day. And there's just so much about, especially being mobile, that I really liked, that
Mhm.
just kept me going and going. And that's why I kind of really dig in on this with you, is I'm curious because I was consulting with the guy up in the Bay Area, and I remember after we had been engaging for a few weeks, and he said, "Hey, did you ever take breaks?" And I'm all, breaks? Like, no, like, I don't even know what you mean. Well, like a lunch break or something? I'm all, no, because I would eat and work at the same time. Like, no. He goes, yeah, I was talking to my girlfriend, and she's, I was telling her just, how tired and worn out I get. And she said, well, are you taking any breaks? And he goes, well, kind of, but not really. And I'm thinking, well, honestly, you got to do what you got to do. If you need to take a break, take a break. It's just that I'm not a break kind of guy. In fact, when I was training guys to work for me and they would take a seat to start cleaning the wheels and tires after I showed them what to do, it's like, okay, this isn't going to work. If you feel that you need to take a seat while you clean the wheels and tires, you're going too slow. So something's wrong here.
That's funny. I worked for a guy who wouldn't let us sit. We were doing painting, interior painting, and he wouldn't let us sit because his motto was, you don't want to be sitting on the job.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, all right, whatever. I was young, and I'm like, fine, whatever. But now I have to sit when I'm cleaning wheels, and I have to sit when I'm polishing, because if I don't, my knees and my back will give out.
Yeah.
So
and
now
that's probably
kind of
where
necessity.
Yeah, and that's probably where, my personality, the way I'm wired, it gets the best of me. But yeah, that's and that's another part of why I dig in and thinking what that is like for other guys.
I mean, cut you guys off, but we're 51 minutes in, and we have not answered a single question from the audience.
Okay,
so
I want to bounce to Doug next,
Yeah.
also, Doug, because I want to pick your brain a little bit.
Well,
but we can ask or answer some
I'm
questions.
almost in a coma over here, asleep.
Yeah.
Sorry, Doug.
We have to. So
Philip was just so engaging. Sorry, man.
He's awesome.
I
he's
can
awesome.
talk.
I get it. No, that's fine.
Yeah, but it's good info too, though.
Yeah.
It's good stories,
Phil has demystified things from detailing.
Yeah, no, you guys
got a great system, man.
We have to answer some questions, because if not, kind of defeats the purpose of the live stream. So
what do you throw at us? What you want to, Sean, as far as questions?
Well,
Sean, what are you vaping?
What am I vaping, or why am I vaping?
What are you?
What flavor? What
poison
are you vaping?
What flavor? Yeah.
Just strawberry.
What is it? Oh,
strawberry.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see here. What we can do? Should ask the audience if you guys have any actual questions. Go ahead and ask them. Here we go.
It's taking too long. Yeah, I hear you, Richard. I'd be your boss, Richard, and say that same thing. It's like if you're sitting, it's taking too long. It's like, dude, if you need to pull up a chair and sit, your mindset needs to be reconfigured here, because it's like there's not enough urgency in your mindset. That's what I taught to my guys is, yes, I want it done right the first time, because it's always faster to do it right the first time. Yep. But there still is a mindset, which is urgency. It's not about being hasty. There is a difference, haste makes waste, whatever, but you got to have that urgency.
It's about being efficient too, not being just fast. Fast is one-dimensional. Fast is just quick.
It is, yes. Well
but
put.
Efficient is fast, but done correctly the first time, so that you're not backtracking and doing it again. Because if you're doing it again, you're no longer efficient. It's thrown out the window.
Yeah. So, Doug, you're in California. What part of California are you in?
I'm in the Central Valley, about an hour north of Bakersfield.
Okay.
You know where Bakersfield is, Darren?
I do. Are you intentionally being non-specific, which is fine?
Oh, no. Visalia, California.
See, so Sean, because of caller ID, he said, of course, he tried to do it with his Peruvian accent. And I said, oh, that's Visalia. I said, I'm my uncle lived in Visalia probably 30 years or so. And I've been to Visalia numerous times. And dude, it gets hot. It gets hot AF there.
Yeah. Yes.
What's that?
Yes. This summer we had a really bad year, man. We had like 3 weeks of 117 to 120.
Oh,
it was brutal.
Word. Are you serious?
Brutal.
Wow.
Yeah. You get up about 4 a.m. It's still 90. It's horrible.
Oh man.
That was a fluke year though. We don't have those very often. This year was bad, man. Bad.
I mean, to get those kind of sustained temperatures, I would actually have to drive out to Palm Springs, which is about an hour and a half east of where I live. And I suspected, I was going to guess that your temps are probably range about 10 to 12 degrees higher than where I'm at. Cause I'm about,
Hmm.
I don't know, 17 miles directly in from the coast, which is
Okay.
in far enough to get pretty darn hot. So my working temperatures during the summer would hover between, let's say, 90 to 100 degrees just on the regular, which is pretty damn hot. You know, when you're getting at a 100-degree temperature and you're climbing into, let's say, a back or a back seat of a sports car, man,
Yeah.
you're sweating up a storm, and now it's
Oh,
like you're mopping up after yourself while you're simultaneously trying to detail a car. It's almost you feel like you're chasing your tail.
I've been there.
Yeah, I hate that when I'm polishing a car and I'm dripping sweat where you're polishing. That's miserable.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
guys want?
It's
Do you guys
extra
want?
lubrication.
You guys want to answer
Yeah.
this question?
Gino. How's the future looking for waterless washes? I enjoy the method. I don't see it going away at all. Like, how could it? Yeah, meaning I've got my own story about waterless washing. I will claim that at least me and my crew, we developed waterless washing for ourselves. This is before the internet. And I suspect that there was other motivated detailers out there that were testing with this concept themselves. And this is before we had the technology of microfiber cloths or chenille wash mitts, certainly not grit guards. Or, you know, the internet wasn't around. We had no access to this stuff, but it was always, you know, to speak to your words, Philip, as far as being efficiency, because that was something that always drove me. And the reason it drove me is because I was really driven to be as profitable as possible. And I knew that was all about efficiency. So I always make a distinction between results or results. That's funny. Results and the process. So efficiency has to do with the process. The results are the outcome. And so you can achieve the desired outcome, but you can do it in a highly inefficient way. And so I was always driven to be more and more efficient. And so we started experimenting with waterless washing techniques, regardless of not having any of the products or the tools that we have today. So I can't see that ever going away. There's just no way. And it's funny. I wish I had a nickel for every guy I introduced that to that were the OCD guys. It's like, oh, I would never do that. That's going to trash my car. I said, I promise you, if you just do it once, you will be, what's the word I'm looking
Hooked.
for? Hooked. That works. Thank you. And every time they are, they're like, oh my gosh, I've been wasting so much time and energy. It's like, yes, you have.
What are your thoughts, Phil, on wireless wash?
So I don't do any waterless washing, but I
Yeah.
sometimes do rinseless washing.
Right.
Like it depends on the vehicle.
Yeah.
But
So make a distinction for us, Phil, because we had someone on the channel a few weeks ago and they were talking about this. And I actually had to remember that there is a difference between rinseless versus waterless. So in
Yeah.
your world, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so I actually did a video on this a long time ago because I myself was confused about it until I did some research and talked to people. And you have waterless washes that are basically just a one solution spray on, like you drench the panel
Mhm.
and you use multiple microfibers to just mop it up and then
Yeah.
it's clean. But rinseless was a solution like Hydra or any other tons of rinseless washing solutions where you put like an ounce
See you,
in
Richard.
4 gallons of water, and then
Yeah.
you kind of the same method. You just use that with either a sponge or wash mitt or multiple
Yeah.
towels, and again you use the same solution to spray down the paint and then mop it up. But it's the same physical technique on the paint, but it's just different media or not maybe media, but different products. And you're using water. You're just using 4 gallons of water for rinseless washing,
Right.
basically. But the physical technique part of it on the paint is pretty much the same.
And I think that's why, like myself and probably a lot of others, you kind of suggested that yourself, where we kind of get confused on terminology. It's like, well, I mean, what do? I would call it a hybrid,
Yeah.
I still use a little bit of water on the wheels because
Yep.
generally wheels, they're just so intricate. It's hard to really do a true waterless or a true rinseless on wheels without using water, but then I'll graduate to the paint itself, and then suddenly it becomes, well, I guess I'm going to call it waterless, but yet I'm still using some water because my wash mitt is still wet. So
Yeah, exactly. And then some guys, if they're doing a rinseless wash, if it's a really dirty vehicle, you can't just use your typical rinseless wash in a dirty vehicle. So they'll actually do a pre-wash on the vehicle using like regular water,
Just
foaming
normal,
it down
yeah.
and all that, and then do a rinseless wash after that. So it's not about saving on water, but it's about cutting down the whole contact wash, traditional contact wash.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like the same amount of time being spent, because
Yeah.
I've done both, and I'm like, it's the same amount of time for me.
So
The thing with rinseless and waterless, I think it takes a lot more towels, makes more laundry for me.
Yeah.
That's true. That is definitely true. Yep.
How would either one of you answer this question? And I'm actually setting this up to be a trick question. So Tim McLaughlin says, what is your favorite waterless wash? And I suspect he means product. How would either one of you, because that would deliver a specific answer for probably both of you, but I would actually dig deeper into this as to how I would answer that question would be based on something else.
Wow.
So you two.
Tim's setting us up. He's setting us up.
No, I'm not trying to set you guys up. It's just,
No,
I guess
I'm
it's part of
saying
the.
Tim is.
Oh,
Tim
Tim.
is.
Yeah, maybe he is. I suspect Tim is now probably thinking like, what the hell is Darren even talking about?
It's like, I just want to know what your favorite wireless wash is. That's all I care about.
I know, right? That
Make it
guy's
more
gonna
complicated
overthink
than it
everything.
really is. Yeah. I mean, for
but-
me, I don't have a favorite, but I
No?
have used 3D's wireless wash. I actually used it on a specific job years ago for this guy who has a ton of classic Porsches, Corvettes in his shop that don't even hit the road. And so I went in with
Nice.
3D wireless wash with a ton of towels, and we just wiped down all of his cars.
Yeah.
And charged our full detailing price.
Wow.
Nice.
That was a good deal.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, it
That
was
was
like
awesome.
$2,000 or $2,500 in one day.
Oh, lovely.
Fuck.
Now, if
And
you
it
could
wasn't
just,
even one day. We were done by like 2.
yeah, wow. So, Doug, how would do you have a favorite?
Man, I do. Hydra's a really good one. I think it has really good cleaning power. Pretty slick under the mitt. But for some reason, here I go. This is the setup. Tim's getting me in trouble. I use Sublime by the Gloss Shop, the panel, and I can't explain it. You just have to use it. The panel just looks different. I can't really even tell you. It doesn't have gloss enhancers in it. It doesn't have wax in it.
Huh.
But I love that
it's
product.
doing something.
Yeah, dude, I can't explain. It's the only product I've ever used when I go cruise my coupe. I'm like, what the F is in this product? So I asked the manufacturer, what's in this? He's like, just good cleaners, man. I'm telling you, there's no enhancers in it at all.
Yeah.
Yep. It's amazing.
And that's, tell me the product again.
That one would be Sublime by the Gloss Shop.
Gloss Shop. I've heard of the Gloss Shop, but I'm not well versed on their different products.
Darren, so this person saying that they like Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Adams is good.
I feel like most manufacturers really have, good products. It's really, I mean, it's like you could just go blindly and say, you know what, just whatever. I'm going to reach for this. It's like you're probably going to get a good product.
That's what I do most,
I think you're
most
right.
cases in my on my YouTube channel is I'll be like, I'm going to use this today. I'm going to use this today. And they're like, why do you use that product? Why do you use this product? And I'm like, it's just, I can make it work. Like it doesn't really.
You're going to do everything retail, completely retail, and nobody is going to tell the difference, in my opinion.
Yeah. I know it. And honestly, it's like, okay, let's, I just did this car and I split it in 3 sections, and this section I use this and this section, whatever. And then you line up 100 guys and say, okay, guys, which section looks the best? And they'd be like, I think that section. No, this section. It's like, okay, if you have to look that hard and it's not obvious, then I'm going to say that all the products perform, like
Yep.
seriously, are we going to split hairs over something like that? And which past that just comes down to kind of a preferential thing. How much does it cost? What's the user experience, which is different than the results that it can produce? If you're happy with the results, what was the user experience like? It's like, well, they're all pretty similar, except you know what? This stuff smells so good. I literally want to drink it while I'm using it.
Darren, no, you didn't. I get blasted for saying that on my channel. Like, I love the smell. The smell doesn't matter. Well, it's kind of the psyche, man. If you love it, you're going to reach for it.
Exactly. Which speaks to like me, my ambiance. Like, why do I like ambiance? It's like, it's called the user experience. I'm the user in this moment. You're participating. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. It's just that I know it works for me. So for example, when I'm using a product, there's times when I don't care as far as the user experience. I just want to produce the right results. But honestly, if I'm going to have the ability to pick, it's like, oh, hell yeah. If I'm using it, I want a great user experience. I want to actually be tempted to drink this stuff. I want it to smell good. I want it to feel slippery or slick, whatever. It's like, that's the user experience. So interesting.
Yeah. Hey, there's a reason why they flavor toothpastes.
Hey,
if they didn't flavor them, it would be a gross, tasty stuff you put in your mouth and brush your teeth. And I'm like, people don't want that. They will pick it according to flavor.
Yeah. So, Birmingham Auto Pros, he's back. So good guys right here. The smell counts. That's right. Gino.
It does.
Yeah. No, I'm a big fan. And, and I've done my share of ripping on the industry, but it's not because they make flavored stuff. And by flavored, I mean visually
scented.
Is it colorful? Because right there, it's all a sensory input. I'm all about the senses. So it's like, does it smell good? Does it look good? What's the packaging like on the bottle? It's like, that's all going to combine on the user experience. And by the way, to me, that translates exactly with a business owner. As your customer, like, what kind of experience are you going to deliver to your customers? Sure, you can produce the desired results, but how about everything else? Do you communicate with them well? Do you pull out the information that they don't know to deliver to you because they don't have enough experience to deliver that information? Are you punctual? Like the whole user experience, what is that like from the moment they reach out to you and the moment you engage with them to the very end? If you get that far as payment, it's like you want to deliver a superior user experience rather than just superior results. You got to have the full experience, in my opinion.
Here you go, Phil. You got something for you, Phil.
I agree. Oh, that's good. I would have to say the 3D line.
Oh, yeah?
The 3D line is really, really good.
Yeah.
And they have a ton of products, a wide range of products. And
I concur, by the way.
I love their stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I concur.
Yep. Even more than Meguiar's. Like, I've used the Meguiar's detail line for many, many years, and it's good, but they've actually haven't really added anything new to their line.
Yeah.
And they've actually taken away a few things, like their wheel brightener they stopped making, and a few other products that they stopped making that I really liked. So 3D still has a good solid line. Behind that, probably is it Nanoskin?
Nanoskin's always reasonable. Yeah.
Nanoskin is good. And then Vonix. Vonix is not necessarily a brand new line, but I started using their stuff, and Vonix is also really, really good stuff. But their stuff might be a little bit pricier. It starts going into the more pricier, but not expensive by any means.
Yeah.
Here you go, Darren.
100% rinseless business using detail kegs and sprayers for wheels and stuff. Most customers are maintenance anyways. Way faster, plus not chasing drips.
That is cool.
See, what he really abbreviated there, in my opinion, which I get it, you have to type it out, but that kind of speaks to what I called my trick question, which guys will ask that. It's like, oh, what's your favorite rinseless or waterless? It's like, well, it depends on what the end goal is. Am I doing a maintenance detail am I trying to just wash the paint, clean the paint, whatever you want to call it, and do a last step product all in one, like a true rinseless product aims to do? Or am I just knocking the chunks off so I can polish the car, which I've got to clay bar the car first before I polish it? So why would I complicate? Like literally, I just want to get the chunks off so I can start detailing it. So that's kind of the trick thing, is like, okay, and no one's going to ask that. I get it. But it's like, oh, by the way, if you're doing a maintenance detail or you're doing a maintenance wash, what is your favorite waterless product or what is your favorite rinseless product? It's like, okay, that's a separate context to me versus someone asking that question in the context of, wait a minute, if I'm doing a full detail on that, my favorite rinseless or waterless product is water. Because I'm just trying to shave off the chunks so I can get to decontaminating the paint and then polishing the paint. So my favorite product is water. It's about as cheap as it's going to get.
You need context with that because it's too general of a question.
Yeah. Which is part of one of my mantras. The quality of your life largely depends on the quality of your questions.
Wait, I have a question for Phil. Phil, because I know you're constantly making a lot of videos all the time. Is there a product that you think was hyped up and it was just garbage, or just not?
Oh no, you did not say that. Putting him on the spot now, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, well then let me rephrase this so that you don't get in trouble. So,
well, maybe Phil's not afraid to get in trouble.
Well,
no,
I don't he is. He's good.
I don't care.
Good.
Okay.
I don't owe anyone anything, so
Yeah.
and nobody owns me except for my wife.
Well, yeah, I diddle that. So, what is any products that you feel that like anything new that is just really expensive and it just doesn't really do what it's supposed to do?
That's really expensive. Ooh, that's throwing a whole other variable into it.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything offhand, but there have been a few products in the past. What's the one?
How about just simply any product that you feel overpromised and then ended up under delivering? How about just that?
There you go.
Yeah, you know what? The one that came out that PNS came out.
I think I know what you're going to say. Yes,
Speed Maker.
I concur once again.
Yeah, like it's okay for what it is, but there was this huge controversy about it being a curable sealant. They're like, oh, it cures. And I'm like,
right.
When anyone says cures in your mind, you think like a hardy protection, like a coating. Right. It cures. And
you're lucky to get that stuff to last a week, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People were using it for maintenance details after they figured out like, oh, it's relatively affordable and you just use it for spray on as a drying aid and a little bit of like a quick detailer. Yeah, maintenance sealant, but that's it. It is not a hardy protection, and it was hyped up to be a little bit more than,
what other product I would put as a parallel to that would be, and you brought it up, Nanoskin, and I'm not going to remember the name of the product. It was some kind of sealant of theirs, and I remember like thinking, I don't know, man, this just, in my opinion, is really underperforming based on the packaging labeling of it. And it claimed, man, that was so many years ago. Maybe
was it like Nano Shock?
Oh, that might be it. This is so long ago.
Nano Shock is what it's called?
I think so.
I'm thinking there's one. Was it a spray and rinse, or was that a wipe on, like a wipe on, wipe off?
It was a wipe on type of deal.
Oh.
That sounds familiar.
Was it
Nano Shock? You just spelled shop, by the way.
I thought that's what you said.
Shock, as in like, oh, I'm so shocked. Yeah, there it is.
Nano Shock.
Yeah, you're correct, Doug.
Yep.
I was so unimpressed. Hydrophobic spray wax and sealant. Yeah. Well, which is it? Is it a wax or a sealant, or maybe it's both? I don't know.
Yeah.
This is where I get I lambaste the industry where all their terminology and ambiguous labeling and hyped up labeling and their made up words. It's like, oh,
yeah.
So Darren, though, on that topic, because we know you don't do ceramics,
correct?
What, or at least I've never seen you do one.
I haven't.
What do you use to get a customer 3 to 6 months You're probably using a spray sealant, right? What is your go-to?
I actually used liquid sealants. And
Oh, so
honestly,
you use okay.
yeah, if I'm gonna, I did believe that the liquid sealants tended to last longer than a traditional carnauba of some kind, whether it was a spray or a paste. And whenever my customers would ask me, which they, I guess, semi-frequently they would, I would just say, well, mostly it depends on how you maintain the car moving forward. I could put it on the best sealant in the world and you could drive it through some low budget car wash and they decide to use a detergent and it's just going to strip it off. So I would put the onus upon the manufacturers and the customer, because there's no way I could guarantee it, because
Right.
I knew in my head that I can literally strip a car of any type of wax, silicone, I don't care what it is, and guess what? The water's still going to bead on that paint. Okay, so if we use the water beading test, like, oh, there must still be some wax left because the water's beating up. It's like, no, that's not how it works. But if that works for you, then I guess you'll never have to wax your car again, because there must still be some wax on that hood because it's still beating up. So,
Nice.
but I
Does-
would just, meaning I was at the mercy of the manufacturers, just like anyone else is. I'm not formulating it. I'm not manufacturing it. I have to believe what they tell me on the label. I'm not going to oversell the moment and say, oh, this is good for at least 6 months. It's like, I don't know. Largely, it's going to depend on you, Johnny customer, how you take care of it. I'm using the best stuff that I have, tested. And so I don't, that was a long-winded answer, but I don't really have I just know that I would default to a synthetic. Like if I go in the Wayback Machine, which my brain's only going to go so far back, like Jescar, yeah, Manzurna, their power, I think it was called Power Lock. I would use.
That's a good one.
Mother's, another fellow detailer turned me on to Mother's synthetic wax, which I found pretty good. But once again, like, am I going back to the customer in 3 months and say, hey, I just called to see how that wax is holding up that I put on 3 months ago. What's your feedback? It's like, how many detailers are ever going to say that,
Exactly. Yep.
So it's,
or even customers doing that, or even customers calling you saying, hey, you said it was going to last. Like, I've never had anyone do that.
ever.
No, because they also have to admit, we as a good detailer, we should be asking them questions like, hey, well, how was it washed? Did you bring it through car washes? Did you wash it, every few weeks? And they'd have to be like, no, like that.
Right.
They're going to be guilty.
Are you
they don't
lying
want to admit
to me
it.
now?
Yeah. They don't want to admit what they haven't been doing.
Yes. Yeah.
What are your and then Phil, you use, sorry, Darren, to cut you off.
That's fine.
Phil, you use the foam cannons, right?
I love foam cannons. Oh yeah, I use them all the time.
Do you agree with this comment, or what are your thoughts?
The smaller foam cannon container, the best way to go. Smaller, like, because all of them are pretty much 32 ounce. They're just different sizes, different shapes.
McKillen's is a smaller one. It's like 24 ounce, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
McKillen's.
I think most of ours are at least 32 ounce. Like I have that one, the MJJC, that like squat one. That one's one of the best ones that I have. Yeah,
Pro V2.
It's really good. Wow, the price has gone up on that thing.
Wow, would you look at that?
How much?
$90.
How much was it when you bought it?
Like 50, like 45, 50.
Oh wow, okay,
that's before they got notoriety for being mega foamers, I think, and then it just blew up.
Yeah. But yeah, I use foam cannons all the time.
Hey, party people, it's 7:19, and I'm going to check out.
Mad.
It's getting
mad.
Oh, Doug remembers.
It's 10:20 here.
Mad. Okay. I'm gonna
you
more
are
than
mad
it.
Than I am.
And also Darren, before we go, to tell the audience members. Obviously, I think mainly everyone here knows who everyone is here, but if you guys don't know who Doug from Detail It is, make sure you check out his channel. He has a lot of useful information.
Yeah, Doug has his own channel, Detail It, right, Doug?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Okay.
And then Phil unfortunately was not able to hook up his live stream. his channel, but hopefully next time if he joins us again, if we're lucky enough to have him, hopefully we can make that work, because I really like his audience members to be part of the conversation. And then if you guys obviously don't know who he is, check out his channel.
Officially, Philip, your station on YouTube it is called Miranda Detailing,
Correct.
and officially,
Great channel.
Doug, it is Detail It.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just wanted.
If
to
you want
clarify
some
for
good,
everyone.
useful info and you're a pro, watch Miranda. Okay. If you just want to watch me try new products, hear somebody get blasted, check out my channel.
Very good.
That's always
Hey,
fun.
it was nice to meet the two of you. Actually, you and Miranda, Miranda. See, I keep slipping into that. Well, you and I were both at the Turtle Wax deal.
Yep, that's right.
And I'm pretty sure we
The one in
officially met
Arizona?
there. Yeah.
Yep, we met
Shadow
there
Ridge.
briefly.
That was cool. That was a cool event, by the way.
That was, man.
I mean,
that was
Turtle
amazing.
Racks, despite what your opinion of their products, they really, and I told them, I sent them a thank you note to a few of the top people there. They really treated us well, and they just nailed the details as far as logistics and the arrangements. I mean, they really just hit it out of the park, I felt, for that event.
It was awesome.
And a lot of their products are really good, actually. They're not bad.
Yeah.
Ever
I
since
agree.
then, they completely changed. They elevated everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. All right, party people, and to
Darren,
all you
Phil,
viewers out
Sean,
there, thanks
thank
for
you.
tuning in.
Yeah.
Thank
Are
you
you guys all checking out? I know,
Yeah.
Philip, you said that you're at
It's late here,
10,
so, yep.
20 anyways.
Yeah,
So
easy. Phil is he's in the future.
I am in
Oh,
the
what?
future.
yeah, that's right, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
So
future's looking bright.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And Darren and Doug are in the past, and I'm stuck right in the center.
Yeah. Well put.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, all right.
All right,
All right,
guys.
Thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you,
and,
guys.
hopefully, see you next time.
All right, guys. Thank you.